This is our first exercise on form validation module requiring an input. Sometimes we have fields in our forms which are not optional. There must be information provided before we can submit it. To enforce this rule, we can add the required attribute to an input element. Take for example. And let's see the example below. We have a form element with a label element, and then we have an input with the type of text, with the ID and name attribute, and then we have an input with the type of submit. So this is the submit button. And let's see, this renders a text box. And if we try to submit the form without filling it out, we get this message. Let's see, do you have any dietary restrictions? It is our label. Then we have our input, it is right here, and then we have a submit button, and that is right here. And if you try to submit the form without typing inside this input field, you will get this message saying please fill out this data, because we have a required attribute in our input element. This is the HTML5's feature. So you just set the required attribute to our input field and you set the basic validation for this input element or this form. And let's see, the styling of the message varies from browsers to browser. The picture above depicts the message in a Chrome browser. We will also continue to show these messages as they appear in Chrome in later exercises. Let's see how it shows up in your browser. And let's see the instructions. Here is our page rendered. Currently, in the provided form, the user can submit it without putting any values inside the input field. And here is our form element. Let's change that by adding, yes, we should add the required attribute to the existing input field, to this input field right here. After you clear this checkpoint, try submitting the form without filling out the fields. So let's copy this, or you can just type it. Attribute, it is called required without any values, just required. And now let's try to submit our form without typing anything inside this input element. Oh, sorry, we forgot to click run, so we rendered the new code we just modified. Let's click on this, and now let's click run. Okay, go back, click run, and now let's go to our page and try to submit the form. And you see, previously we submitted the form because we didn't click run and the newly code wasn't rendered and updated on the page. And now when we actually have the required attribute in our input element, now if you try to submit the form without typing anything, it won't be possible because of this required HTML5 attribute. This should be all for this exercise. Let's proceed to the next one.